Hello and welcome to today's episode of Leadership Satsang. I'm your leadership coach, Yukti Kapoor Mehendi Ratha, welcoming you to yet another insightful discussion on leadership and spirituality. I hope you're all doing well, and I'm really thankful to all of you for making time to join me here live week after week after week. It really is something that I look forward to, and I know for a fact that many of you out there also look forward to these sessions. So thank you for your continuous support and for putting out your questions so that I can take them up in these sessions and help you to deal with the challenges that you're facing as a leader. It's not easy to be a leader. We all get the opportunity to play a leadership role at some point or another in life, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy. It also doesn't mean that you need to have a knack to deal with the challenges, as if you were expected to be born with all the qualities required to play this leadership role that you were asked to play or that you really wanted to play. What it does require is conscious learning. Nobody is a born leader. No one. And that's my strong belief. I think that leadership is a summation of 100 plus skills. And no one person is born with all the skills required to be an effective and impactful leader. So what we need to do is to identify our gaps and then consciously learn how we can bridge these gaps so that we can deal with people in a better way, so that we can manage the challenges that we are facing. It's not as if challenges will not exist if you start learning, but you will know how to deal with them more effectively. And that's what the whole learning journey is about in leadership or in life. So that is the purpose, that is the intention behind putting Leadership Satsang together for you all. I take the liberty of calling this as a satsang because I believe that we're not only in a good company of each other, but we're also trying to find that goodness from within us. We're trying to be a better person. And we're trying to consciously evolve to our higher version, our next version. And I know I'm talking about you when I say all this, because that's the only reason why you would be here live every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Because you are consciously working at some aspect of you that you know can be a better version. And let me tell you this, it's not as if there is any exception to the fact that people need to work on themselves and improve themselves more consciously. It's just that not many of us are aware of what those gaps are and if they exist. And that, to my mind, is a bad space to be in. Because if you don't know what you need to fix, it can never be fixed, right? And if you do know what needs to improve, there are multiple ways to do that. This platform is just one of them. On that note, let us bring ourselves to this moment completely before I take on the topic that I've chosen for today. And I will tell you why I choose to talk on this topic. But first, let's meditate together with the chant Om, as always. And I would encourage you to say it out loud in your own space if you can, so that you can create and feel the vibrations of this beautiful, universal, powerful chant. How do we do it? We keep our spine straight, shoulders relaxed, sit comfortably wherever you are, loosen up from your waist or any part of the body where you're feeling a little tight. Make sure that you can breathe in and out comfortably. Just for some time, let's forget about the rest of the world. Let's forget about all the problems in and around, and let us just breathe consciously. 5 times we will chant Om together. And the way to do it is to inhale deeply. And as you exhale, you start the chant and keep chanting till you can exhale. So I'll show you once, and then I want you to join me. So we inhale. And then as you exhale, you start the chant. Till you can. Okay, so when we chant Om, we create the vibrations. And when we bring in the silence between the two chants is when we feel those vibrations. Are we ready? Give me a ready in the chat. I'm going to put my chat on the phone as well so that I can see you all and interact with all of you live. Let us make it as interactive as it always is, so that I can acknowledge your presence and also take up your thoughts on the topic for the day. Awesome, Indiran, good to see you. Kiran, so good to see you. Inchara, welcome to Leadership Satsang. Thank you so much for joining in. May I now invite you to please close your eyes, keep your glasses aside if you're wearing them, and take a nice, beautiful breath in and breathe out. And one more time, we'll breathe in and out. And with the next breath in, we will start the chant together. A nice, beautiful breath in. Om. 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 Shanti. 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 And whenever you're ready, please rub your palms together and gently place them on your eyes and face and neck, the rest of your body, and slowly come back. There we go. How are you feeling in this moment? Let's very quickly get some reactions in the chat. How are you feeling right now? Where are you joining in from? Okay, looks like there's a bit of a lag in the connection. Is that true? And then we will try and switch to another network if that is an issue everyone is facing. Very quickly, let me know in the chat, please, because I want to make sure that I reach out to you all with today's insight. It's a very, very important discussion, especially for corporates, for business, to understand the whole concept of inclusion. I really do want to talk about it. So let me know if you can hear me well, if I'm able to connect with you. Just give me with you in the chat if you can hear me well. Yes. Okay, let's have video in the chat if this is working better. I've switched the network to something else so that we have the tech glitches taken care of. And I hope it is taken care of. All right, in the meantime, I will welcome Dipashri to the conversation. Pulkit, welcome. Good to have you here. Hope you're recovering well, Pulkit. All right, assuming that you're all here with me, I will take the next step forward into our discussion on inclusion. And that is the topic today. The topic is to inspire inclusion. And as Inchira rightly said, this is the theme of International Women's Day 2024. And I'm glad that there is a team behind thinking of the theme we should have for International Women's Day every single year. And there is a reason why inspiring inclusion has been chosen as theme. I think that it's very important for us to understand that diversity and inclusion is way more than just being a fad or being a hashtag or being a buzzword, as we call it. I think it is an ask of a business to create space where people feel included. Let me make a statement, and I would love you to remember this for the rest of your life if you can, because the statement reminds me and helps me to be more conscious, more careful about including people. And that is to say that if you want to be exclusive, which we all want, right? We all want to be exclusive people. If you want to be exclusive, then you have to be inclusive first. And I keep saying this over and over and over again in so many of my sessions and my talks, because it's important that people understand no one can be successful by themselves. We need the support of people around us to add to our success as much as we can add to theirs, right? So you don't win a race if you're the only one running on the track, isn't it? You need to have people around you to support you, to be with you, even if that's for the reason to compete with you. Without them, there is no success. So when we all come together is when we create success. If you want to be exclusive, then you need to be inclusive first. Inspiring inclusion is not a favor that you will do to your organization or to the people you work with in your team. It is a huge favor, however, that you will do to yourself. Because when you inspire inclusion, which means when you encourage people to be a part of what you're doing, to be a part of the project, to be a part of achieving that goal, that bigger picture, is when you're able to bring in the complementary skills required to get there. None of us have all the skills. Like I said at the start of this session today, that leadership skills is a summation of more than 100 different skills. Negotiation is leadership, right? Conflict management, emotional intelligence is leadership. Critical thinking is leadership. Creativity is leadership. Innovation, culture, vision. All these are different aspects of leadership. And you might be good at a few, you might not be that good at a few others. So what do? We come together so that we can complement each other's skills and bring the best combination required for us to achieve the best results. And that's how important it is for us to be inclusive. So where is the challenge? I'm sure we all agree that being inclusive is important and not just a theme, but really important for us to achieve. Then where is the challenge? Before I share the challenge, I want to know from you all, what do you think is the challenge that you face in your environment? Like when you think that you are not being included, or inclusion is not being encouraged, or we are not creating the right environment, the right space for people to have a say, to be included. How and what makes you feel lack of inclusion in your own professional work environment? Okay, looks like we're really struggling with the network today. I'm going to make another attempt to switch to the third network and hope this works. Okay, if you're good to go, give me a GTG in the chat, please. Thank you for bringing that up, Gunjan, Indiran. Give me a good to go GTG in the chat if I am audible to you now. Yeah, are we good to go? Okay, let me check here as well. Happens sometimes, and that's all right. I'm right here. And we will make sure that you go back with some new learning on how to bring in more inclusion. So give me a GTG and I will know that I am reaching out to you now. I'm going to wait for that. Yeah, I'm going to wait for that. I'm going to wait for that. You will have to tell me that I'm reaching out to you. So GTG means good to go, and that means good to go, Yukti. I'm with you now. Awesome, Ajinkya. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. Thank you. All right, so here is the challenge that we face with inclusion. The challenge is that it is too complicated a word. It is just limited to English. Diversity and inclusion is somebody else's responsibility. Many organizations now have a department, and they have a head of that department called the Chief of Diversity and Inclusion. And that was with the intention to penetrate into the culture and bring in the necessary changes. But what happened? The contrary. What happened? The people thought, oh, okay, so now the chief, there's somebody called a chief of diversity and inclusion, तब ये उसका problem है कि कैसे inclusion create करना है और कैसे diversity manage करना है. It's not my department. So in a way, I feel it's a blessing in disguise if you don't have a head for as a chief of diversity and inclusion, because if you don't, then you should assume yourself to be one. It is every single individual's responsibility to create that culture of inclusion in their department, in their teams, in their organization. So I want to share with you 3 ways in which you could inspire inclusion in your work environment. Would that be useful? If yes, then give me a BIO in the chat, because that will also confirm to me that I'm still reaching out to you, because today we have a very, very crazy issue with tech, it seems. So give me BIO in the chat to confirm that you would like me to bring it on and share with you 3 ways to inspire inclusion. Okay, hope I'm reaching out. Good Lord, I am not giving up on this at all. No matter how long it takes. I know you've got me, I've got you. We're right here, and we're going to do what we need to do to connect again with each other. So please give me a BIO in the chat if you can hear me and if you are with me. Yes. Okay, I'm still hoping to get a BIO, which is bring it on, and I need it so bad like never before. Because I need to ensure that we are connected. You know, at my end, it's all pretty smooth, and I'm wondering what can I do differently. So I'll probably make another attempt to switch to another network and see whatever works best. Please stay with me, guys. Thank you so much for your patience, and I'm really sorry about this, but a few things which are out of your circle of influence, as I say, and this is one of them. You know, I mean, we can just try and do our bit, and the rest of it will take its time. And we are ready to extend that time. So I'm glad that it's working smooth. Give me a BIO in the chat just to confirm that we are together real time yet again. All right. Okay. So let's take our conversation ahead and learn what are the 3 ways for us to bring in inclusion in our work environment. Now, let's look at the first and the most important lesson. And that is to remember that inclusion is a value. It's a value word, which means that when we talk about inclusion, we should be mindful of how important inclusion is for us as individuals. And every individual that we hire, we need to see if they hold the same value as us. If one of their core values is inclusion, is the willingness and openness to take people along, their ability to include people to achieve success and not be a lone shiner, like not be somebody who just wants to stand out and get all the spotlight, but someone who is willing to share it with other people. In fact, Jim Collins writes it so beautifully in his book, Good to Great, that if you want to look out for a level 5 leader, look at a place where everything is going right, but there is no one person to take the credit for it. If you can find such a place, you know for a fact that there is a level 5 leader in action in that space. Nothing can bring up the need for inclusion as much as this statement does to me, right? You know, because it tells me that no matter how good you are, no matter how big a rock star you think you are, you cannot achieve as much as you can when you bring people together. And bringing people together is not something that you do with one organization and then you stop doing in another because wahan pe itna important nahi hai, yahan pe bahut important tha. It's not about the organization, it's about you. It's about inclusion being your value. And if that is your value, then you will create an organization which holds inclusion as an organizational value. And that then becomes a criteria for us to hire people, because we then need to ensure that we are hiring people who share the same value with us, and that is of understanding how important inclusion is. Right? So inclusion is a value. That is the most important thing to remember, and that will help us to inspire inclusion, get the right people, create the right fitment, and develop the right culture within the organization. The second point that I want to share with you is to create a safe environment where people feel safe to work, where people are safe to express their point of view, when they feel safe to disagree. They can put out their own point of view. They can be a devil's advocate to arrive at the best solution. Are we creating that open culture? Are we creating a safe environment for our people where people can express themselves freely? Now, I'll tell you why people don't express themselves freely. Because they know that कोई सामने से कुछ बोलेगा नहीं, लेकिन पीछे से सब बात करेंगे. If I stand here and talk against my boss, maybe even my boss will smile and take it well, because in front of everybody, he or she wants to look as if they've got this. But the moment I turn my back, there will be many people who will talk about me, who will laugh at what I said. And I will become the gossip content, as I call it. Gossiping is a termite that is killing the essence and the soul of organizations. And it needs to end. And the only way to end that is to end it with leaders like you, who can pledge, if you like, to not indulge in gossips at all, for any reason whatsoever. So many people tell me that, gossip is very important to be a part of the group and, to fit in, etc. But let me tell you, you will find better and more meaningful ways to fit in. If you just become this no gossip person, you can still be fun. You will still be authentic. You will still be a go-to person. In fact, more so if you don't indulge in gossip. And only then will it create its necessary ripple effect. When you stop it and you tell somebody, you know what, let's not talk about someone who's not in the room, which is the definition of gossip. If I'm talking about somebody who's not in the room and mostly negative stuff, I am gossiping about that person. There is no other way. Because if it's a feedback, then I'd rather give it to that person. There is no point giving feedback about A to B, especially when A is not in the room. What do we call that? We call that as gossiping. So when we stop this gossip culture, when we create a space where people can have honest conversations with each other, when they're willing to take feedback from each other, when they are taught how to even give feedback so that we don't hurt people with our feedback. We're not criticizing them. We're giving them a feedback which is constructive, which helps them to grow. These things are required, guys. It's not as if, okay, safe environment, हमने policy create कर लिया, हमने HR policies में कुछ डाल दिया, grievance cell भी है हमारे पास, we've got all these paraphernalia in place, but people are still not opening up. Why? Because we've not worked on the culture. Because we are encouraging all wrong things. We're encouraging gossip by being a part of it. Even if you're standing there and not adding to it, you are a part of it if you're not stopping it. Let me tell you that. So if you're a leader who's looking at joining these kind of sessions, who has the courage to be part of these discussions, you've got to take back the pledge of not encouraging gossip in your environment. I'm telling you, it's going to create a huge difference in this safe environment that we're talking about. To create this safe environment, people need to know that nothing is happening behind their back. That sense of insecurity which lurks within everybody needs to be settled forever. In fact, I would go as far as to say, let's put out posters on the walls and put posters saying no gossip zone. Like imagine that, like, no smoking. Like I think smoking is less dangerous than gossip, honestly. And I don't encourage people to smoke at all. It's crazy bad for health, and we know that. But gossiping is worse. So if you can put out no gossip stickers and posters all around the organization till we completely stop doing that. Because only then will we create a safe environment where people feel included, where people feel respected. And then comes the third way that I want to suggest, which can help us really inspire inclusion in our workplace, and that is to invite diverse discussions. Multiple discussions on multiple topics, and people can have their own thoughts on it. Remember in school, like how we had these debate competitions? And these debate competitions are with the intention to encourage children to create their own perspective or to do the necessary research and bring out a different perspective. And the different perspectives are encouraged in the room when you are part of a debate. That's the whole idea, to challenge each other's perspective. But what happens in an organization? We stop doing that. We don't encourage that. In fact, we discourage different point of view. The point of view that trickles from the top is pretty much a mandate that needs to be followed till the last level. Now, of course, that has its own place and importance and purpose. There are things which needs to trickle down as a mandate. I absolutely get that, and it's important. But we also need to create open spaces for debates and discussions on topics which are probably not technical, not even shop talk, just something of interest where people can have multiple viewpoints, like religion and spirituality. What are our views on that? What are our views on the skewed, male ratio or female ratio in a particular department? What are our views on sexual orientation that people have? What are our views on ethnicity and the diversity in the culture within the organization or otherwise? What are our views, our interests, our thoughts, our opinions? Just creating space to do that. And you can do that with a fun element attached to it. You could have like a round table conference or a round table session once a month, once a quarter, where the whole idea is to put lots of topics in a bowl, and you pick one topic, and then that becomes a topic for debate, and you just on the spot indulge in a debate for about half an hour, 40 minutes, 1 hour, whatever, and then go back to your workstations and do your bit. Great team building exercise, if you ask me. But what it is doing is much deeper than just building a team. It is creating an open culture. It is creating an inspiration for people to be more inclusive, because when I hear a point of view which is not mine, is when I can challenge my perspective. There is no other way. Our perspective is our truth. And the only way to challenge that is to be willing and open to listen to someone else's perspective. But वो होगा कैसे? Because हम तो पूरे दिन अपने काम में ही busy हैं. We don't get time for anything else. And that's true. So how do we challenge our perspective? How do we not become so righteous? And especially if we are successful, then we become even more righteous. And if you're senior, oh my God, it just keeps getting more and more and more difficult as you go up the ladder. So if you're able to create a culture where we sit and discuss about things, anything under the sun, maybe we could have like a chai pe charcha within the team and throw out some random topics and just have a discussion. What you will see is how differently people think, because they come from different backgrounds, different upbringing, different education, different experiences. And that's the beauty that each one of us carry. That is what makes us so unique. And if our uniqueness is understood, is when we're able to bring a lot more together as results, working together as a team where everybody feels respected, where everybody feels included. So here are the 3 gives that I have for you all, encouraging you to bring these gives to life. See if you can take this idea forward to your organization, or at least do it within your team to invite diverse discussions. See if you can participate in creating a safe environment at work where people can express themselves openly, honestly. And see If you can imbibe inclusion as your value and encourage others to come up with this value and add inclusion as one of their values with which they work in this organization. In fact, see if the organization can adapt inclusion as their own value so that they start getting the right people on board, so that they have a central culture that binds us all together, saying that every one of you matter. Every single person matters. And that is the only truth. I hope you're taking away something from this discussion. Really sorry about the glitch that we experienced today, but I know for a fact that I've reached out to you and I'm leaving you with these 3 very concrete takeaways. I would love to know which one of these has resonated the most with you and which are you committing to? Saying that, this one thing I'm going to work on very, very consciously, or all 3. There's absolutely no compulsion to choose any one. Go ahead and bring all 3 to life, but I would love you to commit to it, because knowing is not good if we are not committed to doing anything about it. So let's bring the knowing into action by committing. What exactly are we going to bring into action from what I've shared today? I would love to see that in the comments after this session. And of course, waiting to talk to you about many other important insights in the space of leadership and spirituality in the satsangs to come. So, next week, it will be another very interesting topic that I'm waiting to share with you all. So I will see you next week sharp at 8 o'clock on Tuesday. Till then, take very good care of yourself. Thank you so much for being here with me. It means a lot. I will see you real soon. God bless you all.